First off, I want to thank the brave men and women who work behind the wall. I want to thank them on a national level because their job goes unrecognized.
How do they try to turn a guard?
Well, correctional officer. Sorry, I apologize. But correctional officer.
Hey there, Tier Talk fans. Russ Hamilton here from Keepers of Chaos. Anyway, it's that time of year again. 2019 has almost run its course. We're about done with this year and ready to move on to 2020. But before we do that, it's always good to take a look back to see where we've been. And in this case, I think the only way for me to report this is to say that this year, for corrections and law enforcement in general, it's been kind of bleak. The things that we're faced with specifically in corrections, like losing tools, at least in some departments with respect to things like administrative segregation, things that keep us safe. Part of that's on us. I don't see very many of us stepping up and, calling the people that are making these new policies and procedures to task. We let journalists get away with calling it things like, solitary confinement or isolation, neither of which actually describe what's going on in a security housing unit or administrative segregation. And so, basically we have, a bunch of politicians and legislators who are just, caving to all of these, inmate and criminal demands. And what are they doing? They're acting like the permissive parent. If I just don't bother to discipline anyone anyway, then the public will have no problem with it. The public isn't paying attention. Or if the public is paying attention, they're on the wrong side of it. But it's formed this crisis that we're facing in all of law enforcement with this permissiveness that just, demands no accountability whatsoever. So it's hard. It's been a hard year. We've lost officers. We've lost officers to the enemy. And things do seem bleak at times. But you know what? That's not the way that you can spend every minute looking at this. You've got to find the good things, the things that are on the horizon and stuff. And that's what we'll talk about mostly in the next segment that they're going to do on this, on Tier Talk and Corrections 1 with respect to, what's coming in the future and how do we set ourselves up for success in that. So the takeaway, though, that I said before about this year is that it was bleak. That's not to say that there weren't some high spots in there. Personally, for me, I think some of the things I've been involved with as far as, social media and stuff is going to bring some hope to the profession, some hope that we're going to, switch things up and being able to start moving that pendulum in the other direction. But anyway, I want us all to stay positive because, there's no sense in letting the other side win. There was a officer, he's well known in the social media area, and he was talking about the fact that he would not even bother to be a law enforcement officer in this day and age. And I thought, you know what? It's horrible that he thinks that. Somebody has to step up. Somebody has to fight the fight. Somebody has to put their 2 cents worth in. Somebody has to be able to say that, you know what, it's worth going in there and putting in the effort that it takes to move things the other way. We have no choice as a society. Does that mean we're going to win all the time? Nope. Does that mean that we're not going to, suffer some defeats? Nope. But what it does mean is that the courage that we hold in our hearts, and I know this is especially true of those in corrections, that courage that you've got, that's going to sustain us. That's going to carry us through. That's going to allow us to turn the tide. That's going to allow us to be successful for the future. That's where we are. This is nothing more. This crisis is nothing more than a chance to rise up and shine and to take on these challenges that we're going to be able to look at more as opportunities as we win more victories. Don't be discouraged. Don't be disheartened. I have faith in everyone out there. I worked more than half of my life in corrections. So I know what everyone's capable of. We're going to turn the tide. Anyway, this is Russ Hamilton. I'm signing out. Hey there, Tier Talk fans. Russ Hamilton from Keepers of Chaos here. So, this year, it's almost run its course. And so, in a video that I just did recently, we looked back at that year. This video is going to be about looking forward to the horizon, to seeing what's on it, to see, what we're going to be encountering in corrections. And there's no doubt about it. The challenges are steep. The challenges are many. And so, you know what? Buckle up, everyone. It might be a bumpy ride, but I think that there are many victories to be had ahead. And when I say that with knowing some of the new tools that are being presented to us. And the biggest of which I really think is, or at least part of it is, this social media aspect. This social media aspect is allowing us to be able to contact all kinds of people that are coming into the field or wanting to come into the field. And we're being able to educate and inform them in a way that they build a solid foundation. And it's going to take a while, but as they work their way through the ranks, as they move up into positions of influence, we're going to be able to start turning the tide of this, this permissiveness, this lawlessness that is being, driven home to us by all of these, politicians and legislators that simply don't care. They're letting the inmates run the asylum. They're letting criminals get away with everything out there in the streets. They're pandering to them because they're cowards. Well, let me tell you something. Cowards do not exist in our work environment. We're going to make the changes necessary. And, people out there that are doing this social media thing, that are trying to, be not just social media influencers. That's a term that, a lot of us have that are in this, but we're out there influencing more than just social media. We're out there influencing corrections across the United States and even internationally. The stuff that we're doing on Tier Talk and Keepers of Chaos and Correctional Officer Brotherhood and so many more of those others out there, with Anthony Ganji and Keith Helwig, Gary York, Michael Pitaro, all of these people. And many, many others. And we're going to be able to start moving the chains. We're going to be able to start, moving that pendulum back to the other side, or at least having some influence on it. So, and don't get me wrong. It can be daunting when you see, just how bad things out there can be, but you should take heart. If you've been in this game even for a little bit, and you look to your right, you look to your left, and you've got some tremendous people serving with you, people with tremendous talents, people with tremendous heart, people with tremendous courage. And you know what? You should take, comfort in that. And, just be part of this team, stay with us that are doing all of these different social media aspects on all of these different venues. Because in the end, we will turn the tide. We will be victorious, but it's going to take a while. Be wary of what these politicians and media types and your own administrators are sometimes trying to sell you. Because if we want to be successful in corrections, which is safety and security, and the other aspect, which is rehabilitation can't exist without accountability. It's time to start, getting people in there to hold these inmates accountable. It's time to start making sure that we have the types of, interactions and contacts and contracts set up in the outside part of corrections with these prosecutors and stuff to make sure that these inmates, when they attack us, when they hurt us, that they're held accountable. It's a bunch of bullshit just letting this stuff slide and people saying, well, that's just part of the job. No, it's not part of the job. It's part of what happens in the job. So, I think that part of it is that too much we've just been on defense. It's time to go on the offense. Start demanding these things. Start getting active in some of these forums and stuff. You see what's happening, what Anthony Ganji's doing out there on Tier Talk. Man, you know what? Start participating in some of that. Start asking some questions. start putting some answers out there of your own. This thing, it's more than salvageable. It's a noble profession. And I just really feel that the best is yet to come. But there's going to be some bumpy surfaces in between here and there. Anyway, this is Russ Hamilton. I'm signing off.